Other people have there it goes. Hey, baby, how you doing? Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. So I took a break, and why have you been missing in action? So if you remember 2 weeks ago on Monday, we were having a conversation about like women in power, and we had like faulty sound and the audio wasn't right, but we were talking about how women from UMass Boston in collaboration with the nonprofit organization were training women how to be doper than we already are in the sense of politics, and not just like we shall overcome, but actually like how do we politically put policy in place. And so when I closed out, I informed you guys that I lost my auntie and I was traveling to Birmingham, Alabama to go spend time with family. And then society, as an American, expects you to come back to work the next day. And in my soul, I am not American. I am a soul. And I hurt and I mourn and I weep. And I'm just thinking, like, as far as I have friends and colleagues and people who are not American and who tell me, like, this is not our culture. So you want to talk about, like, do it for the culture. The truth of the matter is, doing it for the culture, we are not even doing life how our culture would have us do life. So when it comes to the passing and the burying of our loved ones, in every other culture, you have 30 days to mourn, and people come and bring you food and take care of you, and not in the sense like cater to you, but make sure you're good. When you take a look at other cultures outside of America, when you are melanated creatures, you want to talk about the village? When somebody has a baby, you have help. The whole village helps you. When you experience death, the whole village helps you. And so here in America, I'm not for this culture. I'm not for that American culture in the sense of you lose someone you love and then you take your ass back to work on Monday and, you know, time will heal all wounds. No, it doesn't, when I didn't properly have the time to grieve. And so I say all that to say, I'm ready to alter policy. And so I learned that the American Leave Act, or the act if you have like a loved one that you have to take care of. And so you have to remove yourself from work in order to take care of this loved one. I forgot the name of the act. If you know what it is, just help me out, y'all. Can y'all help me out? I don't know the name of it, but it does not apply to death. It does not apply. Like, you cannot say, I don't want to go to work for the next 30 days so I can properly sit myself down and grieve out my loved ones. And I'm wondering, like, why haven't we, the people, because I'm so we the people, in the Republican sense, we the people have more control over the government. But a lot of like the Democratic mindset is like, what can the government do for me? Nah, what is the government going to do? Because I pay the taxes. We gonna get to your president not paying taxes in a minute. But as a tax-paying citizen, these are the things that I want. And so as an American, hey America, or wherever you're from listening, because we got mad Jamaicans, Bajans, Trinis tuning in from foreign. But when it comes to the United States, I don't understand why we don't put our foot down and demand what it is that we want when it comes to our politicians. And one of the things that I want from my politicians is for you to alter the laws, and so that I can properly grieve. Period. And not just me, but anybody who loses someone that they love, who needs the time out to properly get back into society. Because, we've already been in conversations as far as therapy. So I've joked many a times that when we speak, this is therapy for me. And somebody was like, Tayla, why don't you really have a therapist on, since you over here analyzing yourself in silence with, comments coming in. And so we are working on having somebody come in and be our resident therapist to help me through all of my problems that I know humans go through. But there's like Snapped, that Lifetime show Snapped. This is a form of snap. Like, people snap when you don't give them the space and time that they need to be human. And so I say all that to say I'm not okay. And I'm okay with saying that I'm not okay. I'm not okay with losing a loved one. I'm not okay with having to, rush back to work in all forms and aspects of work. I'm not okay with how we as a society process, grieve, and accept this thing. Accept any of it. If y'all know me, y'all know I can't stand the way that we accept all of this BS. We accept the fact that our president paid $750 over the last umpteen years, but yet you want to sit here and call me, harass me, send me letters, garnish my check for this little bit of money, for this $50,000 that I make a year. I'm not, for real. Like, I don't have tax problems for real. I'm just saying, for people who do have tax problems, who are paying on whatever it is that they owe in taxes. With that being said, why? Why do we allow? Why do we accept? Why? And it's always never a good enough answer for me. If you're willing to get up and protest and walk from Roxbury to downtown, that's a long ass walk. I don't get like this. That's a long walk, Jill Scott. And if you're willing to do that, then there's less time and less effort for you to A, vote, B, write a letter to your political whoever represents you, and just be more engaged with just, I'm going to go be part of, we ain't really had no riots in Boston, so I can't say riots, but be a part of this protest. And I am struggling with protest. And so let's talk about it. The reason why I struggle with protest is because Martin Luther King Jr. protested. They killed him. He was nonviolent. He's no longer here. The problems that he was protesting against still are. What has protest led us to achieve? So call me Malcolm X, because I do think that we need to police ourselves. I think that we need to do for us, that we should have some land. My 40 acres and a mule. Do you know what I could have grew with my 40 acres and a mule? You know what I will grow today with my 40 acres and a mule? Do you know how cheap land is? If you just buy land in Arkansas, Minnesota, those are cold. Let's go a little southern. In Texas, which is super scary. Mississippi, super scary. Louisiana, super scary. Why? Because if you've ever been down south at any point in time, I was in Alabama, and my sister and I were going somewhere, and she was like, listen, slow down, because if you go above the speed limit, you run the risk of dying. Like that was the beginning, the middle, and the end. Slow down, because you run the risk of dying. Not getting a ticket, not getting arrested, not doing jail time. You run the risk of dying. Do you know what county we're in? Do you know what city we're approaching? And so there's many a county and many a city in the southern states underneath the Mason-Dixon line that you could die for simply being you. And it's appropriate. Hence the news articles that we see every single day. And so I think it's absolutely funny that your, I'm going to say soon to be president, because I do truly believe that Joe Biden is going to win this one with Kamala Harris. I'm not excited about it, but am I excited about Trump? No. So neither one of them excite me. It's like having to choose between the two last men at the end of the world, and you don't want to procreate with either one of them, but yet the world must continue. And so you have to choose the lesser of two evils, and their looks are the least of your problems. And so Donald Trump, your president, not mine, paid $750 in federal income tax, both in 2016 and 2017. And so your soon-to-be president, Joe Biden, is selling bumper stickers that say, "I paid more in taxes than Trump." I don't like him, but I think that's pretty genius. He's going to make some more millions because he clearly is a millionaire. He is going to make more millions off of these bumper stickers. Why? Because I want one. I pay more. I pay more federal income tax than the president. You know what? Anari and Asari are models. I think they paid more income tax than the president. For real. Like, when your kids model, they still have to fill out a I-9, W-9, whatever, W-9, yeah. And then it's 1099. So they have to fill out a W-9. And if I take a look at Anari and Asaria's like modeling W-2s, they most likely paid more money in tax than the president. But I really do like it. I paid more taxes than Donald Trump. Bumper stickers. And I'm not going to tell you where you can get those because Joe Biden doesn't pay us. But he can. Spark FM online. In other news, Breonna Taylor's black neighbor breaks his silence. "My apartment was hit too. Maybe I would have been dead too." His name is Stanley David. He recalled the night of the shooting. He said, "I'm a human being." And on top of that, like, so this is one of the things that happened while I was off air. There were conversations, legal conversations that were being had that we were not privy to because they were trying to protect the case in itself. And then they came and found that these men, and I think it's absolutely, so let me pause. The attorney general, the black man, who came to the podium and started to speak and was saying, like, listen, I have been barred from sharing my personal feel. Like, I watched it. He said it like 5 different times. Like, I can't tell you how I feel. I can't tell you what I believe. I can only give the facts. Why on earth do you think that there was a gag order for this man to speak the truth? It's radio, so I can't be silent for real. But if you could see my face, when, was it Trayvon Martin? And President Barack Obama came out, had to wipe a tear from his eyes and was like, yo, I could have been Trayvon. That could have been my son. That could have been my daughter. I'm tired of marching. I'm tired of asking. I'm tired of begging and pleading to be treated humanely. Yo, one of my associates, she's not really a friend, but I regard her as a friend, is leaving the United States of America because, like, for basic human rights. Like, I'm going somewhere else so I can just get basic human rights. That's insane when you don't feel safe in your country. My soul is weary, my soul is tired, and I'm fed up, and enough is enough. Like, it's too much. It's hella overwhelming. I have a black son, he's 17. In 1 year, not even a year, in 10 months, the United States of America will regard him as an adult, but yet I'm still responsible for him. He will be regarded as an adult, but if you know any 18-year-olds, those are babies. They get tried like an adult, but they're still thinking like children. Like children, not teenagers. Not all of them are built like that. But even the smartest, most wisest, highly regarded teenager is still a child. When you think about decisions you made at 25 years old versus decisions that you make at 40, 50, 60, listen, at 30, your ass is still a kid. You still a baby mentally at 30. You still doing kid stuff at 30. Immature, childish stuff at 30. So I say all that to say, nothing for real. Because it is what it is. And no amount of itching and complaining is going to change that. And that, of course, that saddens me. But it's reality. So I can only do what I can do. And to protect him and those around him as much as possible. And that is why I stay with kids. Because if you're at my house, if you're at my backyard, you're not in the streets. If you're sleeping over my house and I'm ear hustling the conversations, I can find out what's going on, not only in my children's lives, but in the lives of the friends that they keep, the company that they keep. Any parent, any and every parent can attest to the feelings that I have, the uneasiness, the anxiety. Every time you walk out the door, wondering, calling, why are you blowing up my phone? Because I'm concerned, and there's nothing that I can say or do to help you understand my feelings until you become a parent yourself. I need a woosah for a second, so if you can, bear with me. I'm going to take a really quick break, and for the culture, breathe. These aren't the best ones, though. Yeah, don't open the other one because I want you to switch it for the other one. Yeah. Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. We are back. I took a woosah and a bite of a cookie. So I went on a tangent because I'm in my feelings. I have teenagers, and I have a black son that walks the streets and goes to the park and plays with his friends and throws balls. But he also doesn't like to be told what to do or spoken to crazy. And I am the queen of call my mother. So really quick story. My kids have been trained from young that you respect adults, you're mindful of your mouth, you speak when spoken to, and if you're not being spoken to, just be quiet and go about your business, mind your business. So there was an incident and somebody was talking to an Ari crazy. Yo, his level of call my mom made me so proud. Call my mom. Like, don't talk. I am a child. We have no dealings with each other. Speak to my mom. And I don't think there's enough children out here that have been taught that. Enough parents that, like, I don't know. There's a difference when an adult speaking to you, you listen to it. No. When it comes to certain things, call my mom. Speak to my mom. There is nothing you and I don't need to communicate. And I feel like there's more parents need to teach their children how to do that. Call my mom. Call my mom. Today is the day that the Lord hath made. Breonna Taylor is dead. Her killers are not in jail. And the police officer who murdered her is being called a murderer, and he is threatening legal actions because people keep calling him a murderer. I'm sorry, if it quacks like a duck and it jumps like a duck and it does all these duckish things, why I can't call you a duck? You murdered someone. If I hit someone in the road and they die and it's a vehicular manslaughter, I still murdered someone. So technically, you can call me a murderer. You killed someone. I can't call you a murderer? Louisville Metro Police Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly, who was wounded in the botched raid on Breonna Taylor's home, says that he's fed up with the defamation of his character. And so despite being one of the 3 officers involved in the shooting death of Breonna Taylor, Jonathan Mattingly has threatened to take legal actions against those who have labeled him a murderer. His attorney, Todd McCurdy, on Thursday posted a video on social media that depicts his client being taken to a vehicle after he was shot in the leg during the fatal botched drug raid at Taylor's Louisville, Kentucky apartment in March. The grainy video shows a wounded Mattingly, but he's still alive though, right? You still breathing. You can still go home to your family. People can still call you. Don't nobody need to light candles on your behalf? Okay, next. In this grainy video shows a wounded Mattingly being carried through a parking lot to a car before the person at his aid changed directions and placed him in the back of the truck instead. The caption read, "This is the raw video footage of Officer Sergeant John Mattingly shortly after Kenneth Walker shot him. They called him a murderer when all he was doing was defending himself." Listen, y'all weren't on the side of the road, my dude. Y'all weren't like in a old Western, like that's not the way it happened. Yo, the way you can frame anything is crazy to me. This is the raw video footage. He was just defending himself. No, he wasn't. He was actually one of the police officers that was at the wrong location at the wrong time, doing the wrong thing, and murdered someone. Kenneth Walker's Taylor's boyfriend said he shot unbeknownst to him at an officer who were executing a no-knock warrant after fearing that someone was breaking into Taylor's home in the middle of the night. The couple was sleeping in the bed prior, and 26-year-old Breonna Taylor took 6 bullets from police. Daniel Cameron, who is Kentucky's Attorney General, announced on Wednesday afternoon that a grand jury decided to indict one of the officers on 3 counts of wanton, W-A-N-T-O-N, wanton endangerment for the shooting incident, though the charges being filed are not directly related to Taylor's death. One of the memes that I've been seeing, and this is completely different from the article in which I was reading, one of the memes I keep seeing popping up was, he isn't being indicted. He's not charged for the bullets that hit her. He's being charged for the bullets that missed. He's being charged for the bullets that went through somebody else's and could have endangered someone else. He's not being charged for him actually murdering Breonna Taylor. So I'm interested in what people actually think about that, because people are angry and outraged, but as far as policy is concerned, so really quickly, I want to jump to Donald Trump's nomination of Amy Coney Barrett. So ever since he announced that he was going to nominate her, I've been doing a lot of, stalking. I've been stalking her and trying to find out, like, who is she? What does she believe? Some of the interviews, sometimes it's not what people say, but how they say it. Sometimes it's not how they say it, or it's what they don't say. Body language is important. And one of the things that Amy Coney Barrett stated that kind of like it hit me weirdly was a judge is not to make a decision based on, I don't remember what she said exactly, but it was the overarching theme was it's whether if it's wrong, if this thing is wrong and I know it to be morally wrong, it's like the moral dilemma. If I know this thing to be wrong and I don't agree with it, I still have to judge based on how the law is interpreted. And so, well, Tayla, that's how it's supposed to be. Well, can we talk about this? Because we actually have one of the best attorneys in Boston coming on air in the next 2 weeks. And so I'm super excited about that. But my question is, how do you take this law interpretation? And a lot of these laws were put on the books years ago. Like when you think about the foundation of America and the building of our society, archaic is the only way, like caveman type mentality. A lot of do you know, hold on, I'm gonna pull this up. There are 50 craziest laws in the United States. There are ridiculous amount of laws that no longer even are applicable to today's society. In Alabama, it's illegal to drive blindfolded. Who on earth was driving blindfolded for that to even be a damn law? In Alaska, you can't put an animal in the back of an open vehicle. Who had their dog in the back of like a drop top situation? And the dog must have flew out at one time and somebody was like, it should be a law. In Arizona, it's illegal for a donkey to sleep in a bathtub. That law was applicable in 1920 because I don't want the donkey to be in the tub. Now I got bacterial vaginosis. There's absolutely no penicillin nowhere. I can't, like, these laws are archaic. Who even has donkeys in 2020? In Arkansas, you can't honk your horn near a sandwich shop after 9 p.m. In California, it's illegal to whistle for a lost canary before 7 a.m. In Colorado, it's illegal to keep your couch on the porch. To keep your couch on the porch. A law, illegal. What happens when you break laws? I'm just saying. And this is 6 of the 50th stupidest ones. In Connecticut, a pickle must be able to bounce. This is a law. In 1940, 2 men were arrested for selling pickles that were unfit for human consumption because they did not bounce. And that was a northern state. In Delaware, you can't sell dog hair. I'm going to do 5 more. In Florida, it's legal. In Florida, legal parking fees towards animals must be paid. I don't know what that means, but once upon a time in Florida, because legal fees have to be paid for animal parking, including elephants, camels, and horses, the law took effect in 1920 when the Ringling Brothers Circus moved its winter show operations to Florida, and you had to pay for the camels. In Georgia, it's illegal to live on a boat for more than 30 days. Georgia has like a mile of ocean. It's not even connected to the ocean for real. There's literally like a mile of Georgia ocean though. Like the ocean that's connected to Georgia Beach. In Hawaii, it's illegal to place a coin near someone's ear. You know that coin trick? Ooh, where's the quarter? It's illegal to do that. Illegal. In Idaho, it's illegal to sweep debris into the streets. In Massachusetts, that's called Monday. In Illinois, it's illegal for underage culinary students to drink alcohol. Not underage students, but underage culinary students. In 2012, the state passed a law nicknamed Sip and Spit, which allows culinary students under 21 of to legally taste by sipping and spitting alcoholic beverages, but if you swallow, you could possibly serve jail time because you broke a law. So I say all of that to say these are the laws that are currently on the books. Except for the alcohol one, I get it, not really, because Germans and like everywhere outside of the United States, they drink wine with dinner. Take me to jail, because if it's the New Year's and my kids want bubbly champagne, unfortunately, I have been trying to peer pressure my kids into like drinking. Here, you want to smoke this? You want to drink this? My kids won't do anything. So if I can't peer pressure you, I know Jacob, Steven, Susie, and Elena aren't going to be able to peer pressure you. So that was my theory of that. Hey, you want a little Hennessy? Huh? You want a little tequila? Mom, no, I don't. At all. I don't want to drink ever. You want some weed? You want some edibles? No, I don't. Mom, what's wrong with you? If I can't make you take these things, then I know damn well your friends aren't going to, it's going to be nothing for you to say no to your friends if I'm willingly giving it to you and you're saying no. So the reason why I bring all of this up is because we have laws on the books that are old as heck. And these old ass laws that are no longer applicable to today are harmful to the way that we live life. The laws that were set in place in the 80s, laws in the 90s, laws even in the early 2000s, before black people could really even have a voice. When the law was the law and the only voice you had was through your rap music. Now is the time that we are actually becoming attorneys, becoming judges, becoming attorney generals. We're still seeing a lot of first, what's my baby's name? Rachel Rawlings is district attorney. Like the first black district attorneys in 2020. We're about to hit 2021 and there's still many cities, states, towns that don't have a black something. Mayor, attorney general, district attorney, judge. How many counties don't have a black judge? Here in Massachusetts, we have governor's councils. I was supposed to run for governor's council, but after having Prince and experiencing postpartum, damn near going crazy, governor's council wasn't my turn this go around, but definitely the next time election comes up in the next 2 years, you'll see me on governor's council. And what is governor's council? Governor's council is when that's who picks the judges. So when you sit here and think about family court judge, when you think about criminal judge, all these judges are appointed, and the governor himself doesn't sit down and pick all of these judges. So there's the governor's council who kind of like weeds through all of these possible judges and says, listen, like these are the people that we want to put in place. And when the governor's council is a bunch of white men making decisions with white men ideologies, with white men beliefs, with white men privilege, who do you think they're going to put in those seats of judgehood? I don't know what that would be, but who do you think it's going to be? They're not going to look like you. They're not going to look like me, but they're going to look like those that represent the governor's council. That's what is scary to me regarding Trump's nomination of Amy Coney Barrett, is the fact that for her, the letter of the law is the law, and it doesn't need to be changed. So it wasn't exactly what Amy said or how Amy said it. It was what Amy didn't say. And so, yes, I believe that the law is the law. And unless you have a case study that supports why this law is flawed, then it is what it is. But one of the things that she didn't say was though my feelings, despite her feelings, she would never judge or vote, or like she would never make a decision based on her feelings, but only on what the law allows her to judge on. Without that caveat of, but there are laws that are unjust and we need to do better at changing those laws. For me, that was that's what lacked for me. The fact that she failed to mention that those are the things, some things need to be changed. And that failure of mentioning that some things need to be changed means you're okay with the status quo and you're okay with this mediocrity of justice. Because justice is not just at all. And the fact that you don't find fault with some of these laws that need to, we need to do a better job. That's what I was looking for, Amy. I was looking for your non-abortion, you're not, I don't care. All of that is your personal beliefs. Great. But the fact that you want to overturn Roe versus Wade, the fact that people are questioning your Brown against Board of Education stance, that, my love. Yo, I be wanting to say so much. But the last thing I need is for the FBI to come after me. But yo, right now, it's a 5-3 conservative. So we have 5 extremely conservative Supreme Court justices and 3 moderate and liberal and quote unquote I believe the children are our future. It really is we have 6 racist and 3 non-racist. When it boils down to the okie doke, that's exactly what it is. And so these 3 non-racists, no matter what we do, we need some of these 6 conservative, you should never be able to have an abortion. Ever. Don't have an abortion. I don't care if your daddy raped you and you're about to have the spawn of Satan. It doesn't matter. Have the baby. Who cares? I don't care if your child has a extreme medical ailment. Spend the next 30 years of your life taking care of this child that you do not have the financial means to support. Do that. But at the same time, I'm going to shame you because you're relying on the government for health care. It's a catch-22. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. We have 6, or will have 6 if Amy is nominated. We will have 6 conservative Supreme Court justices that the 3 will never be able to beat. But yet, while millions of innocents die every single day, the guilty still live on. And I wish I could say what I want to say. Can the Caribbean grow magic seaweed that reduces greenhouse gas emissions from cows? So I told you we were going to talk a lot about the West Indies and also indigenous, because I don't want it to just be quote unquote what society calls black and brown, which is weird because if you have any bit of melanin, you're still considered black. But a report by Jonathan Mason for St. Kitts made mention to whether or not the livestock contribution of 14.5% towards global greenhouse gas emissions are more than the transportation sector. So livestock's contribution is 44%. 44% of overall global warming. And that's more than the 100 million cars on the road. That's more than... I always thought spaceships, when spaceships are all of that smoke and all of that, what are these things called? Stack houses. No. I can see it in my head. I'm thinking of manufacturing. That's what it was. Like the manufacturers that need to have like the smoke and the fire and they burn off whatever the waste is. I thought that those things would have had a higher percentage as far as like greenhouse gases are concerned, but it's not. Like it's cows for the methane gas, or so they say. I don't know, but they're wondering whether or not the Caribbean can go ahead and produce seaweed needed to make the bovine dietary supplement called Aspergillosis taxiformis, and it thrives in northern Queensland and Western Australia. And whether or not, if we create this thing that flushes out all of these gases, aka very similar to hemp and weed. And a lot of people don't know this, but if you, I'm snitching on myself, right? So scientifically, if you grow marijuana, hemp near Constantinople, what's Chernobyl? Chernobyl what was Chernobyl? What is that thing? Nuclear. So if you grow weed or hemp near nuclear power plants or where nuclear spills have happened, they have noticed that the weed like absorbs it, but is still thriving and living and growing and producing weed. And so I wonder, when it be like, I got that gas. What if you went to Chernobyl, where there was, in 1986, the number 4 reactor in the nuclear power plant damn near exploded. Mad people died. 34 years later, like it's still active there. Plants are growing, trees are growing. If you Google it, if you look it up, like the way nature has taken over. Besides that, what I was going to say is, what if you had that gas for real and you took yourself to the Chernobyl plant and went ahead and grew some marijuana and then sold that gas? And it's like, it's real nuclear. No, that wasn't okay. If my kids would hear, they would look at me so crazy like, Mom, you're dumb. Why would you say that? But I just wonder, as far as not just that, but like we have a lot of landfills, or not just landfills, but we like opened holes in the ground and just started pouring nonsense into it. And so there's all these like radioactive, Marcella, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Like when something is a chemically, what is the thing I'm looking for? Peace and blessings. The truth, I do smoke weed. I love marijuana. Mary Jane. What is that thing called though? The radioactive, not just radioactive, toxic. I'm sorry, my brain's not all here yet. Toxic. So we have holes in the ground and we pour toxins into them and then cover them with dirt and like no one can go here for 400 years. Real life, do your own due diligence. Don't believe nothing that ever comes out of my mouth, okay? So like 400 years, we can't come here because there's toxins in the ground, there's toxins in the water, there's toxins in the air. You can't grow nothing, you can't drink nothing because it's toxic waste. And that's like Oklahoma. It just holes in Oklahoma, Arkansas. I'm joking about that, I don't know. But there are many in like the southwestern states. Just holes full of toxins. And I'm wondering, like, if we just grow weed over there and then sell that contaminated. Thank you, James. Woody, I appreciate you. Contaminants. So I wonder if we grow the weed, what does that look like? What does that look like as far as the contaminants in the weed? And at the end of the day, people are like, damn, Tayla, you crazy, like you trying to kill people. But when you think about this, the weed that is currently in some of these dispensaries, you don't know where it comes from. You don't know what's in it. I think I read an article a while back, like 4 or 5 years ago. I read an article about how there was a study that some of the genetically modified weed that was being created had like mood alterers in them. People were scared that it could possibly like them immaculate. I don't have no words today. I promise you. I'm so sorry. Demasculation of the man, like estrogen, giving men more estrogen than they have. Long story short, because I need to do a better job at like turning a whole paragraph into a sentence. Long story short, we could be cleaning the air if we went back and put that ordinance, that law. Remember, once upon a time, cash crop. When we had cash crops, it was mandatory for people to grow weed. So if every farmer had to grow weed, take X amount of acres and grow marijuana, we could clear the air. Like, it doesn't just filter the ground. It filters the air. We know this from science. And if we know from science, Tayla, stop. Why? Because it's all about the money. If it ain't about the money, you know why? Because lobbyists are real. And aside from lobbyists being real, you also have to deal with the fact that lumber was one of the first industrial businesses, but it's also one of the largest and makes the government a lot of money. So if you're no longer cutting down trees and killing oxygen for people to breathe, then you can't sell oxygen in a can. You can't charge people for what is an inalienable right. You can't, I watched a documentary recently. The Amazon was, once upon a time, let's say 50 years ago, the Amazon was at 97%. With all of the deforestation that we have allowed to take place in the Amazon, even though it's a protected, like, what's it called? It's not like a wildlife thing. Sanctuary, not sanctuary. Woody, what am I trying to say? The Amazon is a protected place. But yet deforestation, stealing, tapping the trees, stealing all sorts of medicinal, rubber, the rubber trees, like all of these resources that come out of the Amazon, we are literally raping ourselves. We're not raping the Amazon and taking away from South America. Like it's not about that. When you think about the amount of forestation in the Amazon and how much it cleans the entire world, you're not screwing South America. You're screwing your grandkids. I don't care where you live, in the suburbs, in the city. You still are going to, when the ozone opens up and you have nothing protecting you from the sun, it doesn't matter where you live, baby. Unless you're in a bunker, you're going to burn. And you're going to be worse off than anyone that has melanin because you don't even know how to protect yourself. Your body don't know how to protect itself. And so what frustrates me is the fact of everything freaking frustrates me. Everything, all of this, because it's stupid. All of it's dumb. None of it is common sense. None of it is like thinking for the long term. A protected region. Thank you, Woody. It's a protected region, and we are not doing what we need to do in order to protect it because we're too busy trying to get our pockets lined from the lobbyists. And I'm saying we, the politicians, we, the 1%, because we ain't getting no money from that. I'm not getting paid. But everything that is destroying our world, not just Boston, not just Massachusetts, not America, the world. I made a comment on Twitter a couple years back. It was just like, if we, the people, truly cared as far as like the World Health Organization, if the World Health Organization was really doing their job, then when it came to the Amazon, they would be doing a better job at actually protecting it. When it came to the World Health Organization, we'd be doing a better job when it comes to contaminating the waters. When it came to the World Health Organization, like, who is who? You don't do nothing. I wish I could cuss like I want to cuss. If this was nighttime, I would. The World Health Organization is here for Bill Gates to sit here and vaccinate whoever the hell he want to vaccinate. My dude, you're a computer scientist. Computer science. Not medical science. Like, I want to know how the world gave so much power to a man who majored in computer science. Tayla, I know you have a degree in political science, but we were wondering, could you please work this nuclear power plant? Yes, we want you to be the CEO of all the nuclear power plants in the world. It doesn't work like that. I have a compassion for nuclear sources. Like, I don't know. Like, common sense, my love, common sense. My auntie used to say, the one that recently passed, she'd be like, this don't make no sense. It really don't. Natasha Patrice Barboza, hey baby, she said we need to educate our community. And the truth of the matter is we can educate and we do educate our community. But when there is an event down the street from your house that is literally a block away and you have no knowledge of it, how do we then educate the people when the people don't have access to the information? You can't come out and support this event if you don't even know it's happening. You can't come out and get this education if you don't even know that Spark FM online exists. You can't listen to Tayla Andre if you don't know that Tayla exists. We need to do a better job at community by not only just having this information, but sharing this information. So if you know that Tayla Andre is on Spark FM, and I'm using me as an example, but you can use anything as an example. We are so like selfish in the sense and egotistical in the sense where the knowledge that I have is the knowledge that I have. Do you know how, as a real estate agent, do you know how many people are like, oh, Tayla, I want to be a real estate agent. Where should I go? And if you ask any other agent, they're like, man, you know how many people ask me what school I went to? Where should I do? I'm not answering that for you to be the competition. Nah, baby. I went to the school in Randolph, is a black woman, and then she lets you do your continuing education for free. She's right above Not Your Average Joes in Randolph. I'll share the knowledge every day, all day, because you're not competition if you're another black person who looks like me trying to do better. That's crazy. There's enough properties. I can't sell every house. I can't work with every client. I am one person, and even though I have a team, my team can't handle the capacity of all of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Georgia, and I'm working on Alabama now. I don't have capacity for all that. So what I look like being selfish with the knowledge and not telling you where I got my own certificate so you can get yours. Peace and blessings. First time tuning in. Hope it's not your last. Love and appreciate you. Eat soggy waffles, Brianna. Okay. Okay. The truth asks if I smoke weed. I sure do. If so, how was it and did I like it? I think, did I smoke the weed from Chernobyl? No, it was just a thought. I was being dumb, but at the same time thinking outside the box. And I really do wonder, because you'd have to go there with a radioactive suit because it is still active. But it's not as active because of the growth of greenery. And so there's been is it botany? Botanist? There's so many trees and wildlife and, things that are thriving in Chernobyl that the threat has decreased. And so I do wonder if you go ahead and put on, one of those hazard suits, go plant you some weed, and what is it, 8 months, 10 months later? How long does it take weed to grow? I need to start growing weed so I don't have to buy none. However long it takes for it to grow, go back out there, send it to a lab, and find out if you smoke it, if you'll die. And if not, there are millions of people I know for a fact that will try that ish. I I wouldn't. Listen, I'm a lightweight, okay? So if I do it, I'm going to be like, what movie was that? Oh, shoot. What movie was that when he smoked the weed and he coughed and then he, like, killed over? And the dude, don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. When they were at the table playing cards and he's like, and then tip over, he was like, yo, pass that. Yeah, that's how I would be. Eat soggy waffles. Brianna said, oh man, that sounds too legit. Why is it imperative to know where you get your stuff from? Even better if you're the one producing it. So my cousin grows, so I get it from my cousin. And I think I love his stuff more than, people like, yo, I got the best. I got this. I got that. I don't want nothing that come in a silver bag. I'm sorry. I'm old school. And I never thought that I would be the one coming out my mouth like this. But I don't want what y'all young people smoking. I don't want none of what you got in the bag at all. But if you know what would be dope? I want to see the plastic container, the what's this thing called? The little baggies, those little silver bags. I want somebody to make one that looks like a plastic bag. You know when you used to get the weed back in the day and it'd be in the corner of the plastic bag? Now that's branding right there. I only want 20%. If you decide to use that idea, I just want 20%, okay? That's it. But one of the baggies that look like the corner of a plastic bag. Eat soggy waffles, Brianna said, I was thinking about that when I saw the construction people on my block. Got me thinking they don't even know what's in the ground. It's all designed to be certain regions and areas to promote some sort of dependency. And you're right. If you come out here and actually do what you want to do and go live off the grid, you could grow your own food. You'll probably live to be 300. That's how they were living in the Bible, to be 300, because all the damn fruits, vegetables, and nonsense that we dealing with. I do want to have that conversation, though. I want to have that conversation with somebody who can break down to me, was the calendar different? Like, how did people really live? Like, Moses was 600 years old when Sarah gave birth to their 14th child. I'm like, can you even have kids at 600? Like, they be trying to put limitations like at 35, you are a geriatric pregnancy. That's what they call me, because I'm over 35. I was a geriatric pregnancy with Prince because I was old. But yet Sarah didn't have kids. Oh, she did have a kid because Hagar had the baby first, and that's why Israel is in shambles right now. So, like, Sarah, she was having kids mad young, mad old. But yet you want to come talk to me about 35? My ancestors gave birth at 350. That's real life, though. That's real life if you look at the Bible. You know what I saw a meme. I'm always here for the comments. I saw this meme that was talking about, it was a picture of the pyramids. And it was like, how is it you can't tell me how these pyramids were made, but you could tell me what Jesus said and how he said it? When you think about that make you scratch your head like, things that make you go, I think it's funny. We shall see. You can't tell me how the pyramids were made, but you can tell me what Jesus said? Oh, Lord. So it is 12:08. We are going to get into Motivational Monday. Ooh. I'm going to take a break because I don't have a DJ yet, but we're working on it. And if you know somebody, please refer me. I want a Black, Latino, Indian. I need somebody who is super diverse. Somebody who can play, I don't go for that. No, no can do. But then can play suavemente, besame. Like, I need you to be super diverse. So if you know that DJ, please tell them to call me 617-459-0041. 617-459-0041. That is my real number. If you know somebody who's looking to buy or sell real estate, needs help with credit, 617-459-0041. Don't forget that the book is available. Finally Home, the step-by-step guide for people preparing for first-time home ownership. I am Tayla Andre, waking up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 11 to 1 p.m. We're going to take a quick break so I can take my breath, and then we are going to do Motivational Monday. Today is sponsored by Tailor-Made Real Estate Easy. Tailor-Made Real Estate Easy is not just a catchy hashtag. It is real estate agent and Tayla Andre's goal to simplify one of the most difficult processes in your life. Brought to you by Tayla Andre. Yo, people know I'm crazy. What? We can get food when I'm done. Collaboration over competition. Yes. Yes. I want to know what's the realest shit I done heard in a long time. Because I be saying a lot of shit, boo. Tell me what I said. Mm-hmm. That's your water out there? No, I think my water's in the car because I didn't put it nowhere. The keys in my bag. Your ass gonna have to wait. Just wait. Have patience. Them cookies you gave me. With your hungry ass.
Alright, so I'm looking for a house in Alabama, Atlanta, let me know. I'm so serious.
You trying to live near my daddy?
I'm trying to live with you, Dad.
My stepmother will kill you in real life. Yeah, hi. You're going to be buried in the backyard.
They ain't in love like that. Talking about before.
You're crazy. She love him. My daddy is the best. And he love him some her. He loves him some. Okay, we got to go back on. Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. So today is Motivational Monday, and we are talking about living your best life. I want to play Living Your Best Life. Ain't going back and forth with you, Negroes, living my best life, but we don't have a DJ to edit out the YouTube version, so we just going to leave it like that. Before we took a break, I was over here complaining like I always do every day about everything. And we were talking about some crazy ass laws that are still on the books that it's illegal for you to do. And I just wanted, before we begin Motivational Monday, I just wanted to go through a couple more. Because in Indiana, it's illegal for you to ride a horse above 10 miles an hour. Not on the road, but period. It's illegal for you to ride a horse over 10 miles an hour. In Iowa, you can't throw a brick into a highway. Who did that for it to become a law? And when you think about laws, right? How many black men have been killed by police? They've, have gotten off scot-free and ended up getting a job at another police force. And that law still hasn't changed for you to not be able to just kill people. But yet, you can't throw a brick into a highway. So how many people threw a brick into the highway for it to become a law in Iowa? In Kansas, tire screeching is banned. I have no idea what that means, but if you live in Kansas, make sure your gears are greased and your tires are checked, as tire screeching is not only considered unlawful, but of course it's painfully annoying to listen to. In Kentucky, a woman cannot marry the same man 4 times. How did this become a law? They got a divorce, they got remarried, they got a divorce, they got remarried, they got a divorce. And the judge was like, listen, you can't marry him again because you guys are just going to get divorced. In Louisiana, it's illegal to send a surprise pizza. And you could be handed a $500 fine by sending an unprompted pizza to somebody is actually considered harassment in Louisiana. But here in Boston, I'm hungry. If you want to send me pizza, I love a veggie. The only thing I don't like is olives. In Maine, it's illegal to park in front of Dunkin' Donuts. Where the hell are you supposed to park, in the back? In South Berwick, Maine, it was enacted because the coffee and donut chain, it is a hot spot for the parking lot, and it held major traffic jams. In Maryland, sleeveless shirts are banned in public parks. In Massachusetts, it's illegal to tell fortunes without a Oh, shit. Are you serious? You can't. Wow. You have to apply for a license to tell. Does that go for card readers? It's a law. Are you admitting to illegal activity? You have to be certificate. A fortune teller must live in Massachusetts for 1 year. Oh my gosh. It is true if it's a law. You know what? We're going to take this one step further. Massachusetts, Massa. What's the date on that? Massachusetts fortune telling law. Mass General Law, MGL. C with a dot, 14 SS that look like a Francois. What does that SS mean? I can't wait for our attorney to come in, and she's going to be our resident attorney. She is the best attorney. Her name is Stephanie. All the criminals know her. Fortune telling licensing prohibits fraudulent taking money by pretending to tell fortunes. So hold on, do you get like some type of test? Like, yes, you take classes. You have to take like 6 classes. You really took classes so you could tell fortunes? Oh my gosh. So okay. So for those who don't know, in the background you can hear Marcella. Marcella is the sister I wish I never had. High school best friend and so much more. But she's crazy. Like, if y'all thought I was crazy, she's crazy in real life. You have to take classes to take. So I pulled up the law. How do you license a fortune teller? In Massachusetts, we leave checking qualifications to municipalities. It's only natural this time of year, and this was October of 2018 when the article was written, that we turn our attentions to the ghouls and ghosts and things that go bump in the night, jack-o'-lanterns, trick-or-treats, and everything else scary. No person shall tell fortunes. This is the law. The statute provides Mass General Law. Licensing activity is left to cities and towns, but no person shall tell fortunes for money unless a license, therefore, has been issued by the local licensing authority. Said license shall be granted only to applicants who have resided continuously in the city or town in which the license is sought for at least 12 months immediately preceding the date of the application. No such license shall be transferred or assigned unless otherwise established in a town or by town meeting action and by city or city council action, and in a town with no town meeting or no town action by adoption of appropriate bylaws and ordinances to set such fees. So basically you can do it. Oh my gosh. No, you have to get a license. And so we looked it up, Mass General Law. You have to get a license to tell a fortune in Massachusetts, which is crazy. And while we over here reading the crazy laws in crazy laws overall, I had no idea that one was going to pop up. And so I could go on and read all 58 of the crazy laws because we're only on 22. Actually, 22 is in Michigan. You can't sell your vehicle on Sunday. You gotta wait for Monday. Yo, meet me on the corner at 12:01 and we can do this deal. But it's Sunday and I don't want to go to jail. Like, stupid. And all of this started, if you're just now tuning in, all of this started reading of the craziest laws that ever took place. And James Woody said blue law. Look up the blue law. All of this started because I was talking about Trump's nomination for Supreme Court Justice. And Amy said something that really kind of hit me. She basically said that the law is the law, and I am not going to go against the law. What she didn't say, which did not sit well for me, was there are laws on the books that don't necessarily reflect our society, and so changes do need to be made. So while she was over there, like, I don't know her as a human. I've watched probably about 25 different videos, interviews, and just times that she has already spoken, and her ideals are, yeah, she's super conservative. Super freaking conservative. And one of the things that I noticed is a lot of Latinos, what she believes, a lot of Latinos believe. So, like, as far as the abortion is concerned, as far as the Second Amendment is concerned, as far like her ideals and her beliefs about who we are as Americans is really super conservative. And unfortunately, I do not see, even though she did say a few years back, she was like, the president should really wait because the letter of the law. And for me, it was like, I get it, the letter of the law, but also, and acknowledge that it's problematic. And she didn't acknowledge that. And for me, like, that was really disheartening. Blue law. I'm looking it up, James Woody. I'm looking it up. Blue laws, also known as Sunday laws, are laws designed to restrict or ban some or all Sunday activities for religious or secular reasons, particularly to promote the observance of the day of worship and rest. I am not a Seventh-day Adventist, but it's in Spanish, it's sábado. In many other languages, it's saba something. So the Sabbath is not on Saturday. I'm sorry. Why does the calendar start on Sunday and not Monday? Because Sunday is the first day of the week. Why? Because Saturday, sábado, is supposed to be reserved for religious reasons. But that's just my own personal beliefs. You don't have to agree with what I believe. But shout out to the Seventh-day Adventists who I think have it right. Sábado. Living your best life. So we are so unhappy about everything. And I don't mean like to be angry and to be upset with what's going on in the world. We are so unhappy with ourselves. We are so unhappy with and I'm guilty. Like, I'm not pointing fingers because there's 17 right back at me about how I'm unhappy with where I am in life right now. I'm unhappy with my financial state. I'm unhappy that baby rain is a terror. I am unhappy that Anari can't go outside and not be free. I'm unhappy that Asaria feels confined. Like, these things make me unhappy, and I want to be a hermit crab sometimes and not go outside and deal with people. We as a society on the happy scale, happy index USA, and there's a real thing. So the United States ranks number 19 in 2019 report, dropping one position from 2018 and 5 from 2017. Except for income, the United States didn't finish in the top of any other metrics used to produce the happiness ranking. America ranked 12 for generosity and 37 for social support and 42 for corruption. But I really think we should have been number 1 for corruption and not Somalia. But, you know, maybe it was Americans who were doing the index for corruption. Wink, wink. But U.S. ranked number 19 as far as happiness is concerned. And so we as a society are not happy people. We're upset. We're not happy. We're disgruntled. You walk down New York, you say hi to somebody, they're like, yo, what's wrong with you? You smile at people in Boston, they want to fight you. What you looking at? We are never just okay. But then you go in the South and like, how y'all doing? But it's just me though. It's not us. It's me by myself. There is no y'all. But you feel me, right? So I want us to talk about how to live your best life. Living our best life. Ain't going back and forth with you, Negro. So identifying what matters most to you. Sometimes when we are the most unhappiest, we forget how blessed we are. When I wake up every single day, the first thing I do is I'm grateful for the fact that I have breath in my lungs. I have a sound mind. All of my extremities, limbs, all of my limbs work perfectly fine. I might be getting old in the back and the hips might hurt and my knee, but I am okay. I am good. And sometimes we forget how blessed we truly are. I have to remind myself of my trip to Ethiopia where children were literally using plastic bottles. So like your Pepsi or your Coca-Cola bottle, like what's the big ounce one? Masala, you drink soda. What's the big ounce one? The liter. So using the liter and smushing them and tying it around their foot. Like that was their shoes. And these kids were the happiest kids I've ever seen. Using a tin can as a ball. What matters most to you? Not even like what makes you happy. What matters? What's important? It doesn't take a near-death experience for you to reconnect with what matters most. Sometimes just a few moments of asking tough questions can help us do the same thing. What matters most? What is most important? If you learned you only had a week to live, what would be important? What would actually anger you versus what would you let slide off your back? What would you be frustrated about, or what... Dr. Tia Martin, shout out to my mentor. I was on the phone with her this past week when Prince was running around the house, destroying everything as he does, as he should. And he came over and he wanted to put on his life jacket. And so he became a swimmer this year. He hated water. Any other time we brought him to the water. But this year he became a swimmer. He was in the deep end. He was doing his thing, living his best life with his floaty on. And so he wanted me to put his floaty on. And so I'm like, what? Like, we're not going swimming. Why do you want to wear it? She was like, Tayla, Dr. Tia Martin, she was like, Tayla, do you want peace? Or like him wearing that floaty, him wearing the life jacket, does it hurt you? No. Him wearing that life jacket, does it hurt him? No. Him wearing that life jacket cause any affliction on anyone? No. Then let him wear the life jacket. Do you want peace or do you want to control a 2-year-old? And I'm like, you know what? I want peace, B. And so I actually have a picture of Prince sleeping in his life jacket because I chose peace. And for those that are currently on live or anybody watching, he fell asleep with his life jacket. Do you want peace or do you want to control everything around you? And so these are the questions that you need to ask. What's really important? What's worth your time? Yelling and screaming at teenagers about not cleaning their room. You know what, Tayla? Do you want peace or do you want to just close the door? Like, if you want peace, just close the door. You don't sleep in there. You don't do nothing I don't do nothing in Asaria's room but bother her. I don't do nothing in Anari's room but bother him. Yo, why? Can we please take a moment? Can you please tell me why boys' rooms smell horrible? And he's not a dirty kid. Like, this kid is in the bathroom washing his butt on a regular basis 2-3 times a day. You know, he's 17, so he like girls now. So him and his hygiene is highly, he's been like girls. But I'm trying to understand, like, what is it about Anari's room that just smell like feet and ass, and Asaria's room just smell like roses? I don't get it because there's no food allowed upstairs. There's like, they're not bringing no drink upstairs. It just really smells disgusting. If you have the answer, please tell me because I don't know. Really? Is it just a boy thing? Disgusting. Practice being present. Taking a moment and like examining your breath. and being mindful of how you're breathing and listening to your breath. And sometimes for me, meditation isn't being on top of a mountain and feeling the highs of being astral projected. For me, sometimes it's simply sitting here and breathing and listening to me breathe. And when, 11:11 hits or 12:12 hits or 5:55, instead of being like, oh, it's good, like make a wish, at that moment, I take a moment and just really breathe and remember that I am alive. And I tend to do that when I have pain as well, like when I'm hurting, when it's sadness. Like, I feel this because I'm human, and I feel this because I'm alive. And if I wasn't alive, I wouldn't have these feelings. And so to just take a moment, be present, and no matter how bad it is, I want you to think for 5 seconds of the worst day of your life. The worst day of your life. It got better though, right? It improved though, right? So just take a moment to be present, be mindful. Mindfulness has benefits. Diabetic patients who were taught mindfulness skills experience lower blood sugar and increased happiness. Mindfulness on the job has been proven to reduce exhaustion and increase job satisfaction. Mindfulness is not difficult to learn. It is something that we can do in any moment, like right now. Like right now, if you're driving, if you're at work, you don't have to close your eyes, but just breathe. And just be thankful that you can breathe. Because there's people on machines. There's people with oxygen tanks. There's people that are on ventilators. There's people that can't breathe. Mindfulness is not difficult to learn. It's something that we can do in any moment. You can do it right now. You can do it later. You can do it in the car. You can do it in the bathroom. You could be in a meeting that you do not agree with. A meeting that is frustrating the life out of you, and you can remove yourself from the situation without even moving, and just sit there and breathe and put your finger on your pulse, on your wrist, put your finger over here by your thumb. Or if you want to be super annoying in the meeting, put your finger on your neck and just feel your pulse and breathe. And just be present. Just be in the moment. Just remember, you're alive. Regardless of what it is you're feeling, regardless of what it is you're going through, you are breathing. You have breath. You are alive. You can move. You can think. You can speak. And regardless of what's going on, those are the things that really matters. Those are the things that we need to be mindful of. Savoring the moment. We be so engulfed, and I say we, you are not, I am not exempt. Don't think for 5 seconds I be on here talking about you. Most of the time I ain't even talking to you. I'm talking to me. It's not even about you. But savoring the moment. And there have been so many times recently, I have to admit that I have been getting better recently, not being attached to my phone. And it's been really annoying to those that are close to me. It's like, Tayla, you don't answer your phone. Well, first of all, that nonsense is on DND. So do not disturb me nor my peace. And if you really need something, just send me a text message. If not, you're going to call 2 or 3 times in order for it to ring, because the first time it rings, it's going straight to voicemail. My phone been on DND ever since I got an iPhone. I'm sorry, not sorry. My peace is important. And if you don't leave a message, you didn't call. That's what my daddy said. My daddy been told me that since I was young. If you didn't leave a message, you didn't call. And if you didn't leave a message, apparently it wasn't important. And if you didn't text me, you really didn't need anything. And so that's the way I chose to live my life. I want to be in the moment. There's been so many times Prince did the cutest thing. Oh my gosh, where's my camera? And instead of running to go get my phone, I just had to sit and just bask in the moment and just sit and appreciate whatever it is that he was doing, or whatever it is that, for me, my heart smiles and my heart sings, and I love watching my children together. Like to watch Anari and Asaria. I have a picture of Anari and Asaria because I walked in the room and they were just booed up together. So they were watching a video together or whatever they were watching together. And I thought it was the cutest thing to just see them interact and to watch the relationship and to have watched them grow over the years and how they are like these two completely different people that if one goes to their father's house and the other one stays with me, 24 hours later, it's like, I miss my sibling. Where's my sibling? Like, I want to spend time with my sibling. Like that to me is like my savoring the moment. Not running to get my phone, not running to record that moment, because even though it's great to watch and have it over and over again in the physical form, it's absolutely the same effect when you close your eyes and you think about that same moment. And so, even if it's a moment that you cannot savor because it's too painful, then you're able to revert to another moment. Like think about something else. You're not limited to what that savoring the moment is. And so you can like becoming present and like what I recently ended a program trying to figure out what my saboteurs are and what is it about me that I sabotage. What type of conversations do I have with myself about other people? What do I, attribute, or what do I believe about this thing that I then, just changing my mind and being mindful of my mind. And so one of the things that they have you do is like close your eyes and listen to the closest sound. Now listen to the furthest, most faintest sound. For me, I don't know why that was just so important and so special and took my meditation to a whole nother level. Another thing that they did to teach us mindfulness was to like feel your face, and not like just feel your face, but slowly take your fingertips and graze them softly over your forehead, over your eyes, down to your cheeks, and like literally being in that moment of self and savoring that moment. And I can't it was a 6 weeks program. And in the last 6 weeks, I can tell you that not only has my meditation life improved, but I've been able to calm myself down. So I'm a snap, crackle, pop type of person. I'm a Taurus. We let it go. We let it go. We let it go. And then all of a sudden we snap and you like, yo, what's wrong? It's because I've been holding this in for the last 8 months, waiting for you to do the right thing. And you keep doing the wrong thing. And so it sounds like I snap, crackle, pop, but this is 8 months worth of frustration of me talking and talking and talking. So I had to go ahead and learn how to woosah. And savoring the moment has definitely been one of the contributing factors to my peace. Listening and having empathy. I think as a society, that's one of the things that we currently lack, is having empathy and understanding other people's point of views, and not just other people's point of views. And so if I'm going to be really transparent right now, my auntie suffered, and she suffered greatly from fibroid myalgia. She also had a valve in her heart, and I did not understand her pain and the level of her pain, to the fact that sound hurt, light hurt, touch hurt. And because I could not understand that, I had very little patience and very little empathy towards her situation. And so I say that to say, as losing her, just going back into my mind and replaying conversations we've had and feelings I had towards conversations that we had, and just really understanding that if I would have had more empathy, if I would have put myself in her shoes, I wouldn't even have to put myself in her shoes. Just pretend, think for a second, even if I cannot connect or directly relate, to have enough empathy to accept her pain and her suffering and be as helpful as I possibly could have. And I failed at that. And so that definitely is a lesson learned today for me, it's not easy and it does not happen overnight, but I am being more patient with the children and being more patient with baby Rain and being more patient with humans, even though you have so dumb sometimes and so no common sense. But just like having a little empathy and understanding not everybody was raised by Corey Joe. Like, not everybody was raised by Eric Ward. Like, not everyone came from where you came from, has the same beliefs as you. Be easy. A little bit of empathy goes a long way. And once upon a time, I didn't have empathy and I didn't want to listen and I didn't want to hear. And now, while I didn't have empathy and was not listening to someone else's pain, I currently am in pain and seeking empathy. Isn't that crazy? That's actually really that's the first time I'm saying that out loud. And it's crazy how that works. And now I force myself to be mindful. And these little things that the kids do and the little things that baby Rain does truly doesn't alter or shouldn't alter how I think, feel, or engage with them. And so it's work. Like, it's real work and it's everyday work, and it's not something that comes easy, nor is it going to happen tomorrow. But I am a work in progress and I am doing my best. And that's really, I spoke to Nana today and she said, baby, that's all you can do is your best. And if you do your best and you fail, well, you did your best and you failed. Are you going to try again? And when it comes to mindfulness and living your best life, these are things that you have to practice every single day to learn to go with the flow. Remember that day we talked about going with the flow? And I was like, yeah, go with the flow, go with the flow, go with the flow. And then I got off air and it was like, psh, psh, psh. Let me throw a rock at you. Let me throw a brick at you. Let me hit you with a car. And I was just like, I'm not going to crack. I'm not going to crack. And then my ass cracked, snapped, and crackled. Like, it was Chernobyl all over again. And then I had to bring it back. And you remember, I came back on air and I was like, y'all, I failed. We had a whole hour conversation about go with the flow. And then all day today, I went against the grain and fought the flow. And so going with the flow, being in the flow increases our happiness and helps us reach optimal performance and boost our creativity. One of the best things about going with the flow is to put happiness in our control rather than being happy because of exterior events. It allows you to be happy with yourself and just, flowing through life and flowing through whatever is. Hit the reset button. How do you live your best life? By hitting your reset button. And I got to take pauses in real life for everything. Like, a friend of mine, we may not be on the same page right now. We're not on the same page. So I need a pause. I need a time out, and then we can pick back up at a later date. But right now, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to say anything that is going to jeopardize. So my pause is reset. If y'all remember, Soul is saying pause and reset are two different things, Taylor. Because pause means we about to resume this. Reset means we starting over. So you absolutely right. I have to acknowledge, we going to just call it spirit. The Holy Ghost is in the building and told me, Taylor, pause and reset are two different things. And you're absolutely right. And so taking a pause. I'm thinking about back in the day when you had Nintendo system and you put it on pause. And then this was back in the day when the whole house had one TV. And you put it on pause and run to the bathroom real quick because you've been holding it for 17 levels. And you come back and somebody done shut it off. And you're like, what were you doing? I was playing that. Well, it was on pause, so I thought you were done. Reset. Starting all over. And so it's okay for you to reset. It's okay for you to say, listen, I don't want to engage in this conversation right now. And I think we hold people not accountable. What is it? we demand of people and we want of people and we ask of people. Like, I want to talk about this now. My children's father, the big kid's father, let me tell you about Hafizan. So the definition of you teach people how to treat you. Back in the day when I was the crazy baby mama, the same one that I advocate against today, when I was the crazy baby mama, there were times where I would like I'd start getting loud in my rah-rah, and he would just hang up the phone, and it annoyed out of me. Like, I could not stand it. And he was like, listen, you're not going to yell at me. You could talk to me till you're blue in the face. We could talk until the sun come up, Tayla, but what you're not going to do is yell at me. And so aside from that, it's like, I want to talk about this thing. I want to talk. He's like, well, I don't want to talk about this right now. We can talk about this at a later date, but I'm not engaging in this. Like, I'm not signing up for that class. I forgot what motivational speaker was just like, don't sign up for that. Like, this is a class you don't want to sign up for. And there's plenty of things in life. Like, when people call me about gossip, listen, do I know them? I don't. Do they pay my bills? They don't. Do they pay your bills? They don't. I don't. This is not my business. Like, I don't want to know. I'm not signing up for this class. Oh, let me tell you about where I'm not signing up for this class. Like, there's just some conversations you need to just hit the reset button. Like, call someone else. I'm not the one for you. I'm not engaging in this. Chris said I just took him back. You talking about for the when you press the pause button and somebody reset on you? You don't have to sign up for everything all the time. And if you thinking about it like college, when you sign up for a class, it's a class that you're engaged in. It's a class that you like. It's a class that you want to be involved in. You don't take the classes you don't like. You don't take the classes that aren't equivalent to your major. I'm not signing up for that class. You might want to sign up for the class, but it's not beneficial for me. And it's okay to do that. Chanel said, what's up, Remy? Shout out to Remy. She is a Spark FM personality. Check her out. She got the R&B. She be if you need a date night, you need a whole mood at night, Remy got you. Chanel, it's 11 to 1 a.m., right? So you're like opposite. I'm a.m. and you're 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., I believe, because she be in the building late with her sexy voice over here. Rah. Shout out to Remy. And all the other Spark FM personalities. But you do not have to, you don't have to sign up for that. You don't have to be engaged. You don't, like, that is not, she said it's a whole mood. She lived her life like that. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. And it's, like, people won't at first, we're going to do like a Motivational Monday next Monday. We're going to do teaching people how to treat you, because we truly do teach people how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. And so that's a whole nother conversation, and we will do a whole hour of it. So you can reteaching your spouse how to treat you, reteaching yourself how to treat you, reteaching your children how to treat you. Like, all these people treat you a certain way. Like, I don't know why he treats me this way, because you let him treat you this way. I don't know why my kids talk to me this way, because you let them talk to you this way. Your kids don't talk to nobody else that way but you, because you let them. So reteaching people how to speak to you, how to treat you, how to come at you. Like, sometimes you got to take a pause, take a reset, and say, listen, that's who I may have been at one point in time, but that's no longer representative of who I am today. So we have to work on how you're going to treat me, and I'm going to teach you. Be self-aware. There's a saying that awareness is the first step to healing. Sometimes we're so busy in life that we don't take the time to hear our inner voice, and it truly is, because I did have to take a moment to be self-aware of why was I feeling this way about my auntie's passing. What was it about her leaving this earth that I was so sad of? And it wasn't that I was just sad because she's no longer here and I can no longer hear her voice and I can no longer joke with her and I can no longer, like, she used to scream on me for like, this don't make no sense, Tayla. Like, you got common sense, Tayla. Like, what are you doing? So and that's like, let me tell you, she keep me on track. She's not even here breathing with us, but she is in my head all day, every day, and keeps me where I need to be. And so I really had to take a moment and do some self-aware of why was I feeling this way, and really do that shadow work. We'll do a Freaky Friday on shadow work. It won't be a sexual Freaky Friday, but it would be like, yo, this is a little out there, T. Shadow work is when like you ask yourself questions in the mirror, and then the first answer that comes to mind is the first answer that comes out your mouth. And so it's a lot deeper than that, but it's like, Tayla, why do you like the color purple? I like the color purple because it feels sexy and it's sensual and it makes me feel special. Like, but if I give it a second thought, like, it's a pretty color. Like, your first mind is always the right answer. And so shadow work is taking your first mind and actually acknowledging it, like being self-aware of the truth, because the truth is we lie to ourselves every day. I love him. No, I don't. I just don't want to be alone, and I'm scared to be single, and I want to make babies with him because he has good hair and green eyes. Oh, damn. I thought I loved him. Like, when you do that shadow work, it takes you to a completely different level. I know somebody's going to run out and be like, oh, Tayla wants to make a baby with a green-eyed monster. That is not fact. I just want to be clear. But shadow work is really hard, and it's like being self-aware. Chanel said Monday through Thursday, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., R&B and chill. So make sure you tune in. You can check it out on Spark FM online. We got an app for that. We got the Android app. We got the iPhone app. You can listen on your phone. There's everywhere. Like, we are everywhere, baby. You can watch us on Facebook. You can play with us. You can play with us. You can chat with us on the website. So we are dope in all that we do. We are female owned. We are black owned, and we are looking for people who want to put on commercials. So if you have a small business, make sure you hit us up and get your business on air and have commercials playing. Clearly, I just be running my mouth and I ain't play no commercials, but we gonna get there. We gonna get there. Work with me, because I'm a work in progress. Okay? I'm currently being self-aware of my flaws and who I am. Comforting yourself. We do not comfort ourselves at all. Like, this society, and going back to how we began the conversation today of how society thinks like you're supposed to bury your dead and then on Monday come back to work, and everyone just gives you condolences and you go on with the rest of your life. But when you take a look at Cape Verdeans that mourn and wear black for a full year, when you take a look at Ethiopians that not only mourn for 30 and 45 days, but like unplug from life and speak. There's nationalities that don't even speak for 30 days, where they go completely in solitude, and the only people that they speak to are the dead. Like, when you look at like where we are in our society as America versus what our real culture is, who we really are, and what we're really supposed to do, comforting yourself is allowing the baby to cry and soothe themselves. Many of us have learned to be hard on ourselves, to be self-critical in the face of challenges or aspects of ourselves that we'd like to change. Research shows that self-criticism can have very negative impacts on our health, on your body, on like a lot. Research has actually shown that your health, your heart conditions, your high blood pressure, your anxiety, like all of this is a lot of self-talk. How you are talking to yourself, how you regard yourself, how you view yourself, how you internalize some of the actions, thoughts, and things that you've engaged in. All of this internal self-critical, like all of this can cause your organs to no longer work the way they're supposed to work. Calming yourself is, I don't know if you've watched The Secret. So The Secret is a book, but it's also like a documentary that you can watch the first 20 minutes on YouTube. And in the documentary, Bob Proctor brings up, like, you can make yourself happy regardless of how you feel. You can make yourself happy if you start thinking of a baby, and not a crying, annoying baby, but like that moment when Baby Rain was like, yay. Like, in that moment, no matter how sad you are, you can automatically switch your mood by the thoughts that you think. And it goes both ways. If you're really, really happy and now you start thinking of all these sad things. Yo, shout out to my cousin Kevin. I called him and I was like, yo, how you feeling? Like, I know you're sad. And he was like, listen, son, like, I don't do recreational sadness. And I was like, yo, what? This kid is crazy. What do you mean recreational sadness? And he was just like, I'm not engaging in recreational sadness. Like, I'm going to be sad because this thing happened. And you know, outside of that, I'm not engaging in recreational sadness. So it's all in your mind, baby. So you can retrain your mind. You can reteach yourself, comforting yourself by being mindful of the things that you say to yourself, being mindful of how you speak of yourself. Like, it's okay. We are coming to the top of the hour. And Motivational Monday today was about living your best life. It was about peace. It was about happiness. It was about like being able to be happy, and not because of external forces. Or I'm really happy because I got the job. I'm really happy because I'm in a new relationship. I'm really happy because my kids are a doctor, or my kids are a lawyer. Yeah, positive affirmations every day. What's my baby's name? We gon' rock out with my baby. Oh my God, what is her name? I cannot. Jessica. We gonna rock out with Jessica's affirmations, all right? Let me see if I can get this in here for you.
Look, I can be a shark. Now my whole house is great. I can do anything good. I like my school. I like anything. I like my dad. I like my cousins. I like my aunts. I like my Allisons. I like my moms. I like my sisters. I like my dad. I like my hair. I like my haircuts. I like my pajamas. I like my stuff. I like my rooms. I like my whole house. My whole house is great. I can do anything good. Yeah. I can do anything good. Better than anyone. Better than anyone.
I can do everything good, better than anyone, better than any. Yo, and that right there is how we need to start speaking to ourselves. That's how we need to retrain ourselves to speak to ourselves, how to like respect ourselves, to love ourselves, and to wake up and remind you that you are dope, to remind yourself that you are amazing, you are beautiful, you are kind, you are sweet, and I do that to Baby Rain. He does the alphabets. We do the alphabets of Baby Rain. And I wish I would have done it with Anari and Asaria, because I can see in them the admiration of like, why you didn't do that? Like, why we don't do that? I was ignorant at that time. I was 20 and 22 when I had y'all. I was dumb. I was still a kid. Going back to 18 is when you become an adult. No, baby. 18 is when you can go to war and fight for the 1%. 18 is not when you become an adult. You're really not an adult until you are able to financially sustain yourself. You're able to mentally and emotionally maintain yourself. And like, being an adult has nothing to do with a number, because I know a lot of 40-year-olds that are still 12 mentally. So whatever. With that being said, we have come to the top of the hour. I am Tayla Andre. Waking Up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day that we link up about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. Make sure you download the app. We are absolutely amazing. The app is amazing. We can do everything good. I like our colors. I like our studio. I like our staff. I like our boss. So shout out to Danielle. Please download the app on Apple or on Android. We are here. Our personalities are dope. Some of the most influential community members now get to share their voice on Spark FM. And so we appreciate everything that Danielle is doing because this is her full time. This is her baby. And so if y'all want to donate, please donate. We need it. If you want to share this information with people outside of the city, please, wherever you are. We play Caribbean, Afro-Latino, hip-hop, soca, calypso, name it. We play it, and I am looking for a DJ who can play everything because I like a little dance music, doom, 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 like that techno type nonsense, but I also like Tupac and Macho Montana. So, let me know. 617-459-0041 is my real number if you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, or Georgia, working on Alabama. I am Tayla Andres. Everything Tayla Andres, TaylaAndre. And that is the book. That is the real estate. That is the Awakening Your Third Eye, or Ride My Root Chakra, or Suck My Sacral Chakra, or the Soul Naked Black Woman Meditating. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day. Mwah.